Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino does a Pokemon game tier list. We're going to rank every mainline game in the Pokemon series. I did do this a year ago as part of like a mixture of tier lists that were like streamed, but I feel a lot of people were not willing to scroll through 2 hours of footage just to find their thing that they wanted to do with that. And also the fact that, I was interacting with chat, so that slowed down the proceedings. But we're doing this again. I thought I'd upload some of these things separately. And also Sword and Shield are out now, which I don't believe was part of the last tier list, so we're already making progress from a time mechanical standpoint anyway. We've got a tier list going on here. We've got S, A, B, C, D, F, and Japanese, because that's where the Japanese ones go. I don't know what makes these different from the American ones, especially like red and blue. Like, I understand Pokemon Green was a Japan-only thing, but I don't know how the Japanese versions of red and blue differ from the regular ones, so we're just gonna give them their own, ethnically segregated category and call it a day on that. But from then on, we've got like every mainline game, including the remakes and including the remakes as well. So that will be a thing, and we'll be doing those. And it's sure to be an interesting little experience we got going on here. So let's start in with the order that they've provided for us. Even though I feel like I sort of don't want to. So let's do it in chronological order. We'll start with Gen 1. Where is either red or blue? Because, they'll go at the same time. We got Pokemon Red right here. The original Pokemon Generation 1, with all its jank and imperfections and misprogrammings and Game Boy not even color graphics and just everything that it had going on, but still an absolutely, seminal experience as far as an original can go. The nostalgia is gripping. I can still enjoy this game when I play it, if I replay it. It helps if I'm on a ROM, because then I can just, fast forward a bunch of stuff, like grinding. Because Pokemon Red and Blue are some of the hardest Pokemon games. They don't hold your hand. They require you to do a lot of grinding. They got really high level Elite Four. You gotta do it. So that really helps if you can just hold the spacebar and, make time pass 5,000 times faster. It's very helpful. I don't know that I would play this on Game Boy again, but ROMs are nice, allegedly. So I think, it's very janky. I'm really not a huge... I like progress when it comes to these games. I think these games get progressively better with some exceptions, but generally they're moving in an upward trend always. In at least some respects. I think this game is a D. I think Pokemon Red and Blue, they're still sort of fun, but if given the option, I would rather pick almost any other game to play if I had to pick one. So that goes D, and then where's Blue? Where's the Blastoise? I see you somewhere. There's Pokemon Yellow. Maybe they don't have Blastoise in here. Or Blue in here. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so the three of you can just waste space together. I don't know why they had to have every version. We get the gist. It's not like Omega Ruby is gonna be ranked differently than Alpha Sapphire. But so, all right. So that's Generation 1. Then we have Generation 2, which is Gold and Silver. Which there's Gold. I believe Gold and Silver is a lot of people's favorite generation. Is a lot of people what they think is overall sort of maybe the best. I don't know how, I really don't, Gen 1ers, I don't know how you can be a Gen 1er if you've played 2. The second generation. You can be a Gen 2er, I understand that. But what, you don't think Natu is a Pokemon? You don't think freaking Quillfish or Stantler's a Pokemon? I don't get it. I don't understand how you can think... I can't believe there's actually real people who think that Gold and Silver are worse than Red and Blue. That makes absolutely no sense. That's kind of impossible, in fact. I feel like most people who say they're Gen 1ers are like, no, but I love Gold and Silver. I was like, okay, then you don't even know what you're talking about. But yeah, because Gold and Silver is Gold and Silver has Red and Blue in it. You can get 16 badges in this game. You go to the Kanto region. And you just play a better version of it as a result. So, you know, especially for a Game Boy Color game, this game is stacked. Gold and Silver is stacked full of stuff to do. It's very long. And, you know, full of things, and it's good, and it's a nice... It's just a really, really good... I think Gold and Silver are S tier. Okay, that's Soul Silver, there's S tier. We got... Yeah, like, it really is. Like, this is the game. Dude, I couldn't even tell you how many times I played Silver as a kid. You know, I leveled up a Machoke to, like, level 81 because I didn't have anybody to trade with. I was like, my Machoke's level 81. It was like, do you know that Machamp exists? I was like, not really, actually. I don't have friends for that. Alright, so that's Gen 2. Generation 3 is next. We've got Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. I think... visually... I don't know. Well, here's the deal. Visually, I think Gen 3 is prettier than Gen 4, even. Gen 4 is ugly, by the way. But Gen 3... the sprites are cool. You know, it really feels like a step up going from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance. Like, it's actually, maybe don't even underestimate how much of a leap technologically that is. But it's... here's the deal. IGN's Too Much Water review is spot on. I know that is of Alpha Sapphire, and people were making fun of it because it's a remake, but it's still, like, supposed to be the same. It's like, well, this is how the older one was, so harping on it for that is... But also, like, it's still... you still have to play it, even if that's how it was in the original. You know, they changed other things about the original. That's why it warranted a remake to begin with. But it's really just... the Hoenn region, in general, has too much water in it, and that's a fact, as far as I'm concerned. And as a result of that, they added all these, like... is Whirlpool? No, Whirlpool's not in there. Whirlpool was Gen 2. Whirlpool is the horrible HM. I'm so glad that in the later generations we just stopped dealing with HMs entirely. They finally were like, you know what, this is really cumbersome and it ruins my Pokemon's movesets, and I don't want to do it. But so, even though Generation 2 had Whirlpool, and they took that out... did they take that out of Gen 3? I know it's still a move, but, like, is it an HM still? Regardless, they replaced it with Dive and, well, they already had Waterfall and Surf still. Well, at least Surf is a good move. Like, I don't mind teaching somebody Surf, because, like, I'd teach them that anyway, just because it's a strong move. But they had a whole bunch of water stuff. Diving was lame. Just half the region is underwater. Or not underwater, but, like, on water. Which means that half the trainers are swimmers, and they're some of the most annoying people to battle because they don't give you any money. And they all have the exact same Pokemon. It's like, oh, I have a Horsey. Oh, I have a Shelder. Oh, I have a Shelder and a Horsey. Like, that's what you get with swimmers. So, Gen 3 really leaned into the water aspect. I think as far as story goes, it's pretty good. It's probably one of the better stories. Team Aqua, Team Magma, pretty solid. I think that in general, it's got good Pokemon. Generation 3 is the last generation that really feels markedly old because it's the last generation before they made the really significant battle changes, which were a godsend, by the way. You know, Generation 3 is the last generation, and it's the same for, like, XD Gale of Darkness and Pokemon Coliseum as well. With, you know, where they split the damage of moves that hit multiple targets. That's awful. They made it so you switch in before the turn is over if you're in a double battle if your Pokemon dies, which is awful, because it means that your Pokemon will switch in and then the other Pokemon on the other team was priming their move already, and it's just gonna hit them as they get in, and maybe you'll die. So that was awful. And, you know, physical and special split being different, being associated by type instead of move, really makes a huge difference. So, like, those games feel old to play. So in my mind, it's like, if you're gonna go old, then like go big or go home. So that, I would rather play Gold and Silver than Emerald and Sapphire and whatnot. But Emerald does... Actually, this is one of the situations where version specific is gonna matter, because I'm gonna put Ruby and Sapphire in the B tier, and I'm gonna put Emerald in the A tier, because Emerald's battle frontier... Really, it's one of the best things that's ever been in a Pokemon game. The Battle Frontier is amazing. And the Battle Factory, specifically, is so much fun. It was just dumb that, like... You know, it's dumb that that existed before they made the convenience changes to, like, you know, being able to set your Pokemon's level, because, you know... You had to beat the League, and if you wanted to beat the League, your Pokemon should probably be, like, 50 or above. But then if your Pokemon are above 50, then all of a sudden you're locked out of the level 50, you know, rank of doing all the Battle Factory stuff, so... Or not Factory, but, you know, the other ones. I wish the Battle Frontier was in, like, Sword and Shield. I think that would be tremendous. Imagine if they put Battle Frontier in Sword and Shield. Oh my goodness. That would be tremendous. Or just in the next Pokemon game, whatever it is. Like, do the whatever, Gen 9... Give me Battle Frontier, you're gonna have yourselves like an almost perfect game. So that's like that. I guess we'll save the remakes for... you know, we should probably catch up on the remakes. So Fire Red and Leaf Green are the... Because it's Generation 3, it's like you didn't make any significant changes to anything here. There's not actually much of a reason to have remade Red and Blue at this point. Or Red and Green, I suppose. Because you're still dealing with the same, like, really old, archaic battle system. Pokemon are still not being used to their full potential because of, you know, the physical and special differences. Like, Gyarados still sucks because it has super high attack, but its water moves are special, so... I honestly think that maybe the worst Pokemon games out of all of these are Fire Red and Leaf Green. I am maybe willing to make that claim. In fact, I am 100% willing to make that claim. Fire Red and Leaf Green are the most pointless games. They do not need to exist. Which is why they remade them again with Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, and that turned out much better. Though not without its own set of faults. But we'll get there, obviously. And then after that, we've got Heart Gold and Soul Silver to clean up the remakes and get them up to speed. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Generation 4, the first generation where remakes made a difference. Like, even if Fire Red and Leaf Green were made in Generation 4's engine, that would have been really good. That would have done the job. But they didn't. But then they remade Gold and Silver with that, and it worked out tremendously. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are absolutely fantastic. Possibly even better than the originals. Voltorb Flip is a really fun game. Shouldn't make a huge difference, but it kind of makes a little bit of one at least. I would probably just put them like on the level. Since these did end up being S, I'll put the Heart Gold on there as well. Basically, what you should get out of this is that Johto is one of the best regions in the franchise history. Or just like Gen 2 in general, really. The Pokemon, just everything. It's like the most solid, one of the most solid lineups. Even though Generation 2 doesn't add very many Pokemon, it only adds like 50 or something. The fact that you still have access to the original 151 for the most part is just like, you've just got... Like, they just really added onto it, and it was good. Whereas with Gen 3 and them, like, completely, like, getting rid of the old ones until you get the National Pokedex, I think that's fine, too. The fact that these felt like their own really separate region that just doesn't have any of these other older Pokemon in it, I'm fine with that. I liked it. It made it seem like a really new, brand new experience. So I didn't mind that at all. I do not mind when Pokemon games don't have the older Pokemon in them, depending on like what the purpose of it is. So, yeah. Okay, so that's fine. We did that. Next up, okay, so next would be Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I don't remember a ton about these games. I do think Generation 6 is a great generation. I don't even know how I would back up that statement. I just know that, like, X and Y is one of my favorite games. Are one of my favorite games. And so Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby being built on that same engine while improving Generation 3, which is one of the better regions Pokemon-wise, in terms of, like, who's available. And especially, like, this needed it, because a lot of the Pokemon in Gen 3 really needed the benefit of the better battle stuff. Like Breloom, for instance. You know, physical attacker, half of its type is useless because the grass moves are all special. But then, you know, you bring it in now, and now Breloom's like a really good Pokemon as a result of that. It can learn Seed Bomb and all those things. So it made a lot of Pokemon good. It made it a bit grindier, just in terms of, like, the whole, like, catching Pokemon multiple times to get more stuff with them. Or just seeing them, at least. Sneaking up on them and whatnot. Is maybe a double-edged sword on that front. But I still think that that's solid. I would say that it is a straight upgrade, which means that I guess that would put Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby in the A tier. That looks fine. On the level as Emerald. I don't remember if these had the Battle Frontier. I don't think they even did. I'm not sure. Maybe they did. If they did, I'm gonna have to play them again to find out, because if they do, then I need to definitely revisit that. Okay, now we're back going in the chronological order, so that would be Generation 4. Show me Pokemon Pearl, show me Pokemon Diamond, and then Platinum. Here's the deal. Wherever we put Diamond and Pearl, I'm putting Platinum under it, because I hate that freaking shadow area. It's the most annoying area maybe in Pokemon history for me. It's like, it's an hour of just twisting dimensions. It's not a fun maze. I hate it. Pearl and Diamond. I hate the art style. The art style is horrendous. I think these games look awful. But they have added so much important stuff. You know, they were the catalyst for the big changes that needed to be made to the battle system, so you gotta give them credit for that. Generation 4 is one of the most necessary generations to ever happen, which is why Heart Gold and Soul Silver are at the top. But in these cases, it's held back by the fact that Sinnoh is the worst region in the franchise. Just, you know, walk through a blizzard or a swamp and tell me that you're having fun getting stuck every 2 seconds and having to, like, smash your D-pad around just to keep going. In addition to just half the gym leaders in the Pokemon League are the most haphazardly put together, like, don't even have Pokemon of their own type. It's embarrassing, dude. Flint is the worst League member I've ever seen in my entire life. The dude's he's a fire user, except he has Steelix and Lopunny and Drifblim. All he has is Infernape and Rapidash. Those are his fire types. And he's a fire master. Alright, dude. Maybe the Sinnoh Pokedex should have added more than one new line of fire types, huh? And they were the starters. There's only 5 fire Pokemon in the Sinnoh Pokedex. Chimchar, Monferno, Infernape, Ponyta, Rapidash. That's it. They added, like, no fire Pokemon at all. Huh. Like, in the initial. Besides, like, Magmortar as well. But you don't even get access to him for forever, so that hardly makes a difference. I have tons of gripes with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, just because I hate Sinnoh for so many reasons. I think the Pokemon in it are relatively okay. Isn't this a Kingdom Hearts song? Anyway, oh, is this the song that plays when the dude, like, gets his Flabébé or his Floette back, and he's like, "It's been 5,000 years!" Is that what it is? Okay, I remember that. That 5,000-year-old giant man in X and Y. Yeah, the Pokemon are good. I love Shinx, obviously. Shinx is, like, my second favorite Pokemon of all time. I think the Pokemon are solid. Gen 4 also just goes really slowly, like, the HP bar... use Karate Chop on a Blissey, and then put your DS down and, like, go take a nap for half an hour and come back, and the HP is still gonna be going down. It's so slow. It just seems like it's engineered not very well. But it's like... So I gotta balance how much I hate Sinnoh with how much I know that Generation 4 is, like, the most necessary generation there ever was. I guess that puts it in C tier. I guess that's the fair trade to make. And then Platinum is D. Because, God, that shadow area. Oh my god. And the other reason I hate Sinnoh is because Mount Coronet has, like, 3 different entrances that all lead to different places, and you don't know which ones go where you're supposed to go. I got stuck in there for, like, 2 hours trying to get to Snow Point City. But I used the wrong entrance, so you're screwed. Let's see, Generation 5 is up next. We got Black and White. Dude, Black and White, low-key, one of the best Pokemon games. They also, like Gen 3, just kind of undid all the old Pokemon, and you're in this brand new area. Until you get the National Dex, I think. Or maybe Black and White 2 is what made it so you have older Pokemon in there. I'm not sure. That might be it. Black and White 2 might be Black and White, but just with older Pokemon. And the new story, obviously. But, like, I don't mind it, because the Pokemon in Pokemon Black and White are some of the best Pokemon. Black and White might be the best generation for new Pokemon. I don't understand, like, just miss me with all the object stuff, because if you take a look at the stats, Black and White is only ahead in that regard by, like, 5% or something. So, and there's nothing wrong with object-based Pokemon at all. Let's see. Like, look at Chandelure and tell me that's not one of the coolest things you've ever seen. Aegislash? Absolutely. Kling Clang? So it's Gears, who cares? You like Magneton. That's magnets. It's the same deal. I also love Magneton, by the way. Black and White. The Unova as a region is good. It's fine. It's not super memorable to me, but there's nothing, like, offensive about it. The story drags a bit, I think, just in terms of, I don't know. Like, some of the things that you need to do are just boring. But I think in general, and also they really, like, they almost overcorrected the speed issue. Generation 4 is, like, the slowest generation. Gen 5 is, like, lightning fast. You know, you hit someone, boom, their health bar's gone. I love it. I do. As somebody who just, like, doesn't want to waste a whole lot of time, like, I'm a big fan of that. And the legendaries are some of the coolest legendaries. Zekrom and Reshiram are, like, the coolest legendaries. The coolest box art legendaries, if you ask me. Except maybe... No! Except maybe Xerneas and Yveltal. But Reshiram and Zekrom are really cool. Oh, this is Crystal version. Oh, I totally forgot about Crystal version. Okay, Crystal is the same as... I mean, there's nothing above S tier, so that's fine. Crystal's the same, except you get to play as a girl. Which, you know, that's cool. I prefer to play as girls in Pokemon games anyway. So that's fine. Don't ask me to explain that choice. I don't know how to explain it. That's just how it is. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so back to Black and White. I really think Black and White are really good. Let's see, they got Black. Okay, they have White, and then they have Black 2. And they have White 2? Where's White 2 at? Is that White 2? No, that's Ultra Moon. That's not even close. So they just have black... Oh, there's white too right there, okay. I do think black and white, if they're not S tier, they're definitely A tier. But I'm trying to figure out why I wouldn't put them in S tier. And the answer to that is... There is no answer to that, so I guess they're going into S tier. Okay, where's white? White version? Get up all in there. Dude, it's a testament to Pokemon that most of these are going into S tier. And then black 2 and white 2. Really, I think it's just like, it's the same quality except you have access to older Pokemon, which is good for people who like that. So I think as a sequel, it's exactly the same. So I would put them... I almost have a nagging feeling that black and white 2 are better than black and white. I'm not 100... Don't quote me on it, because I'd really have to play them again. But I think that's the case. In my personal estimation. Then we have... How long have we been going for? 25 minutes? We're on schedule. As long as it's not an hour. Next up, that leaves us with X and Y, because there have been no more remakes. No, that's not true. Well, okay, so since these are here... Well, because it's like a Gen 7 remake, let's do that later. Or is it... Was it 6? Or let's go Eevee and Pikachu from Gen 7 or 6. I think 7. I want to say 7. I'm pretty sure it's 7. But let's do Gen 6. So X and Y. X and Y were and possibly are still my favorite Pokemon games. I know that they're easier. It doesn't really bother me. I like the Pokemon they have. I like the region. I think Kalos is a good region. The rivals or whatever. I mean, I sort of, at least like Tierno and, what's her name? What's her name? Shauna, yes. Tierno and Shauna are fine. I know, like, whoever the opposite of you is that, like, is trying to be the good trainer is boring and annoying and whatever. But, I don't know, I also think Pokemon X and Y have, like, my favorite starters, so... I just have a better connection to them, and it really feels like a huge upgrade. Like, it's the first 3DS game, and you can tell the difference that it's really good. Just, like, functionally. It's very well engineered. I like pretty much everything it's got going on. I would probably also put X and Y in S tier. I would do it. It also had, before Sword and Shield came out, it had the best multiplayer. It was just really smooth. Like, you could just go in and do whatever you want to do. And then Sun and Moon took like a huge step back with their freaking carnival they added or whatever. It turned it into a whole, like, stupid thing. But X and Y had really good multiplayer. Okay, yeah, let's go to Gen 7. Sun and Moon. What do we think of Sun and Moon? It's got its ups and downs. The downs, the most tutorialized Pokemon in existence. The most hand-holdy, like, oh, you want to go off course? You can't. We're not going to let you. Even if you've already been there, if you started this other, like, sort of story quest, they're like, hey, where are you going? You gotta come do this thing. We gotta lead you by the nose for the entire game. Is that okay? No, don't even think about going off into that cave. You're not supposed to go over there. Like, it's a lot of that. And it's really annoying. On the plus side, Alolan forms are really nice. And I hope that's a trend that continues, which it seems to have with Galarian forms. I hope, like, every new generation has something like that. Like, form-specific, or region-specific variants of Pokemon. I think that's the wave. That's the future. I would sign up for more of that every time. The first generation to completely do away with HMs, thank God. Thank you for that. So that's another example of, like, you've done good things as a result of being the generation, even if you're not a fun game to play sometimes. Rockruff is a darling, one of the best new Pokemon ever made. Just with, like, mascot potential, anyway. Ultra Beasts are fine, whatever, I don't care. I'm really not picky about, like, Pokemon designs. I think any of them can be good. I don't get too nitpicky on that. I think the trials are gyms. I don't know why they're like, we're gonna do something different. It's really not different. You're doing the exact same thing. It's like, you battle some trainers and then fight the leader, but also you pick mushrooms in between. That's the difference, is the mushrooms that you pick in between doing the exact same thing you would do in a regular gym. Yeah. Like, Generation 8 does basically the same thing. Sword and Shield, some of the gyms, like the tasks that you have to complete before you challenge the gym leader, it really hasn't changed. So I would say it's so restrictive. I would probably put it in C tier as well. Sun and Moon going to C tier. Ultra Sun and Moon, I don't remember if they maybe fixed the tutorialization a little bit, and that's sort of almost why they made it, in addition to the other stuff they put in there. I don't really remember. I think on the safe side, I will put them in B tier, because I have played them, but I don't remember what was better about them. And that just leaves us with Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Sword and Shield. Let's do Eevee and Pikachu first. The second remakes of the Kanto region. At this point in the franchise, we have traversed the Kanto region like 5 separate times in different games. Red and Blue, Silver and Gold, because you go back to Kanto and those ones. Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, and then also now these ones. So here's the deal. Thank you, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, for doing away with random battles. The franchise finally got rid of random battles, and they made it so you just see the Pokemon you want, you go get it. I prayed to the gods above that feature would carry over into subsequent games, and it has, which means we're on the right track. It's so good. Unfortunately, it's too Pokemon Go-y, which on one hand made me want to catch them all for the first time in a very long time, but on the other hand, because catching Pokemon gives you so much experience, they decided to like take away the experience you get from battles in a pretty substantial way, which makes every single battle feel like a grind. I was skipping every trainer I possibly could, because you battle somebody who's like level 30 and you get like 300 XP from them, and it's not worth it. It's not worth battling them ever. So all the XP was in catching Pokemon, because they expected you to want to catch like even the same Pokemon over and over again to get your combos up, and you do want to do that, and so your Pokemon as a result are getting XP from catching Pokemon, and then they're leveling up and being all better. I really liked the idea of Eevee and Pikachu being like OP with their new special moves and good stats, because it makes it really feel like Pikachu, like they should feel, especially Pikachu. I only played Let's Go Eevee, but I assume Pikachu is the same. Is, like, if you want to play Pokemon and you want to catch a Pikachu, you probably have, like, an Ash's Pikachu fantasy, and you want that Pikachu to wreck ass. And so, as a result, the fact that regular Pikachu is awful in Pokemon, it really shatters people's fantasies, but then the fact that you can come into Let's Go Pikachu and use, like, Fairy Super Slide, or whatever the like, weird-ass moves that they teach him are, that does, like, 95 damage and your stats are incredible, and one-shots everything. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted. So that's really good. It really is just, it's the opposite of a grindy game. It's like you want to do as little work as possible, because, like, you're getting no benefit from battling trainers. On one hand, it's the best the Kanto region has ever looked. On the other hand, it's the least amount of time you want to spend in it. Like, just going through and, like, actually doing what you're supposed to do. So, it's really, like, up in the air. It's definitely better than Fire Red and Leaf Green, I'll tell you that. I think it's a C. I think they're C's. I would not replay these games as a result of just knowing that I have to battle trainers for no experience. And that leaves us with Sword and Shield, some of the most controversial games to ever release in this franchise's storied history. I personally am on the team of people who like these games. I like Sword and Shield. Here's the inarguable things that they're really good at. Multiplayer. It's the best multiplayer Pokemon's ever had. If you don't think so, you don't even know how to, like, your brain doesn't work. Like, that's how it is. It's the best multiplayer. They have the best multiplayer offerings. Dynamax raids, legendary raids, and even just how the battles, like trading and battling, Wonder Trade, all that is just refined. It's all good in that respect. The wild area is really cool. You can see that it's, like, not polished, because there's a whole lot of pop-in and, dropped frames and whatnot. But, like, here's the deal. Like, Pokemon Sword and Shield is kind of as bad as it can possibly be, but the floor of what they've accomplished, because of all the mechanics that they put in there, is like, that floor is still higher than a lot of games' ceiling. Just because, in general, the concepts are so much fun and so much better than what we have, that even though they were executed maybe, like, not well, it still adds up to, like, a phenomenal fun experience. Even if it could have been much better. But it's like you're still in that same window of, oh, like, this is fun. You know, like, yeah, the wild area, if it didn't have frame rate issues or pop-in, it's like, yeah, it would have been more immersive. It's like, it's still functionally the same situation. And so even as bad as it is, it's like, yeah, well, that's still better than not having that, you know? So, the story doesn't matter. I mean, the story rarely matters. It's whatever the opposite of grindy is. I mean, it gets grindy towards the end game. Like, when you're like 200 hours into the game, now you're gonna start grinding, because you start grinding for watts, especially with the DLCs. And if you're trying to make, like, good Pokemon with good stats and IVs and whatnot, you know, trying to get watts and unlock the ability to buy proteins, trying to buy, just, you know, grind money so that you can buy all the proteins and irons that you need and whatnot. You know, doing raids for Pokemon who have good IVs, all that stuff. It's a very deep endgame. I think it has some of the best characters. Like Nessa, Sonia, They've got great characters. Hop, because they are the same person, is nothing. But, like, this is one of the games, because I would never have expected Black and White to have sequels. I just would have thought they'd have gone straight to the next generation. Sword and Shield is the first game where I'm really like, they could do a sequel to this. Like, the Galar region is a great region. It's a really, really good region in terms of what it has to offer, and, like, the more stuff that could be done in it. And especially with the characters being memorable, is like, yeah, you could definitely make a Pokemon Sword and Shield 2. And that would be okay. I wouldn't mind if you didn't, if you just moved on to a new region, but if you did make Sword and Shield 2, I would applaud your decision. I don't know, maybe if you even just made, like, whatever the third game would have been, Pokemon Sword, Shield, Pokemon Arrow, whatever, you know, like, Gun, whatever the thing is, and it was just, like, you know, it was like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but, you know, just a better, like, but they also engined it up better and improved performance improvements. Like, maybe you could convince me to get that, but it would have to come with the DLCs, obviously. Yeah, and especially, like, the DLCs have really, like, fleshed this game out. I know people don't like the idea of, like, the game's not complete till you buy the DLC, but, you know, if you want to know what a complete version of this game feels like, you need to get the DLC. And then you'll be like, oh, the complete version of this game's really good. It's got a lot of stuff to do. You got a lot of quality of life improvements. Ways to, you know, get the important things that you need. Like the ability to change natures and alter stats and all that. And also the Galarian Star Tournament's like one of the best things Pokemon's ever done too. You've got, like, you can pick your own partner for like a double battle Pokemon League, you know, Fiesta. Or Siesta? Fiesta? I don't know. Phantasmagoria, whatever. And it's really good. And you get a whole bunch of money for it. I enjoyed that. I wish it had Battle Frontier. If it had Battle Frontier, I think that maybe would have shut some of the haters up. In terms of just how fun the game is overall. But I do want to say that overall, with everything considered, the fact that, you know, they didn't have the whole Pokedex is like, I don't care. I don't really care about that. They added a bunch more of them in with the DLCs. Like, hey, people don't like us, you had to buy it, but, you know. Like, all my favorite Pokemon were not in this game at the beginning. Shinx, Amora, none of them were in there. Me and Xiao, not in there. But I made do. It's really not something I noticed until I had beaten the game and had 100 hours and was just trying to find Pokemon to do, like, mono-type teams with. Like, obviously it would be nice if every Pokemon was in there. There's still plenty of Pokemon that aren't. Like, Murkrow, Honchkrow, Mismagius, like, some of these, my other favorite Pokemon still aren't in there. But, like, I'm okay with that. I don't need everything. But... yeah, you know, I would probably put them, honestly, in A tier. I don't want to give a mess. I know they could be much better. But even what they are is still, like, head and shoulders above what would have been possible with a lot of these other games. Just based on the technology. Dynamax is so good. It's so much fun. I was like a kid in a candy store, like just watching Pokemon be giant and attack each other, like that's all I needed. Pacific Rim Pokemon Edition. Very pleased about that. I'm a simple man. I got simple tastes. And there you have it. You know, our S tier, we got basically all of Generation 2. The Johto remakes, basically all of Johto, I should say, I guess. And we got Black and White, basically all of Unova as well. And X and Y. So those are my 3 best situations going on up there. And then the only F tiers we have are Fire Red and Leaf Green. Everything else is like at least passable. And that's gonna do it for this Pokemon tier list. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe and whatnot. And I will see you guys next time.